Hello, namaskar, namaskara, namaskara, namaskar. My name is Pooja Dwivedi and I welcome all of you to my class, The Daily Current Affairs, where we will learn significant events of the past 24 hours and also how to tackle prelims questions, as prelims is becoming the insurmountable part of the pattern by each passing year. So it is important that you are very well aware of how to tackle the questions and how to correctly and mindfully read the sentences and also between these sentences. Before I begin with the class, I would like to inform you about 3 courses that we have launched. These all are prelims to interview courses in different languages: Hindi, English and Hinglish. Any one of the batches is suitable for aspirants who are going to take up the examination for UPSC 2024. If you're comfortable in Hindi, you can go for Hindi. If you're comfortable in English, you can go for English. For those who want intermixing of two batches, two languages, it's Hindi and English, we have English. Once you're enrolled in this particular batch, any one of these batches, you can expect live classes that we have started from 19th of June onwards. Whatever classes you have missed, you will get it in the recorded version, so you haven't missed on much. Then you will get prelims test series, mains test series, answer writing practice on a daily basis, study material, and even a mains residential program for those students who are going to qualify prelims 2024. So it's a one-stop solution for everything. You do not need to worry about out-of-pocket expenses once you are enrolled in these batches, any one of these batches. We are closing our admission on 30th of June. We have limited seats, so you need to act as quickly as possible. Other than this, you will get a huge discount if you use the code PDLIVE once you visit the website of StudyIQ and you take admission. Please use the code PDLIVE and then you will get it for 29,999 only. Let's begin with our class, and these are the different and most important events that we have to cover today. Category of Muslims and the Constitution. That means different categories and what kind of Muslims make up those categories. See, casteism is very unique to Hinduism, we can say. It is found in Hinduism, but it is an alien concept to Islam and Christianity. But in India, we find casteism even in Islam and Christianity. So, whoever wanted to escape the casteism from Hinduism, and they converted to do so, but they couldn't escape it in Islam and Christianity as well. So, there are categories. It's very unique to India. So, category of Muslim, first Ashraf, claim to be the descendants of immigrant Muslims. Ajlaf, these are Dalits who converted into Muslims. And Arjal, these are backward and other backward classes in Muslims. So we have to see how many pairs given above is or are correct. Ashrafs, yes. They are the elite class who are the descendants of immigrant Muslims. So there is no conversion or intermixing of religion, and that is why they consider themselves to be the elitist of the elite. So first is correct. Ajlaf are actually backward and OBCs in Muslims. Arjal on the other hand are Dalit Muslims. So, Dalits, Muslims as in Dalits who wanted to escape casteism and converted into Islam. So, they are still considered as Dalits even in Islam. So, only the first pair is correct, second and third are not correct. One pair only will be the correct answer. Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday while at Bhopal, he tore into the triple talaq concept, saying triple talaq is very unique to India, was very unique to India. Even Egypt got rid of it 80-90 years ago. It does not exist in many Muslim countries. If it is so important to Islam, why did it exist in India? So that is why he talked about Pasmanda Muslims, who are actually the lowest of the lowest category of Muslims in India. So this word Pasmanda comes from an Urdu word, and that means those who are left behind. These are the most oppressed, the most marginalized, most socially and economically backward Muslims in India. These are more than 85% of the Muslim population in India. The 2006 Sarcher Committee report, which was constituted to study the Muslim category in India, talked that there is over 40.7% of Muslims in India who are OBCs. Nearly 16% of the total OBC population they comprise of. Ashrafs are members of the elite. They claim to be the descendants of immigrant Muslims. Ajlafs are OBCs and backward Muslims who converted from Hinduism to Islam or any other religion to Islam. And Arjals are Dalits who converted to Islam. Consider the following. All people will get equal status and there would be no discrimination, uniformity of traditions and custom. Burden on judiciary would decrease. overlapping provisions of law will get avoided. So how many of the given above is or are the benefits of Uniform Civil Code? Uniform Civil Code means a uniform law for everyone when it comes to marriage, divorce, inheritance across different religions. So these are Uniform Civil Code is supposed to replace the personal laws that causes discrimination among different religions. So there is no uniformity. If there is Uniform Civil Code, of course, all people will get equal status as in before the eyes of the law, and there would be no discrimination. Like there is no provision of triple talaq in Hinduism or Christianity. Okay, so if it is not in different religions, why should only the Muslim women be the one at the receiving end of it? This was the concept when it comes to removing triple talaq. So first is correct. But Uniform Civil Code does not mean that the traditions and customs of everyone will become equal. This is the diversity that India has. It has nothing to do with the Uniform Civil Code. Uniform Civil Code only ensures that the laws with respect to the marriage, divorce, inheritance, these remain same. It does not want traditions to remain same for everyone or customs to remain same for everyone. So first is correct, second is not. Burden on judiciary would decrease, of course. Right now, the judiciary is burdened with different laws, trying to interpret different laws and trying to give the same kind of outcome for all religions. So that is causing a lot of time loss when it comes to interpreting the different personal laws in accordance with the constitution. So that is why burden on the judiciary would decrease and overlapping provisions of laws will also get replaced. So first, third and fourth are the benefits. Second is not. 3 only will be the correct answer. Uniform Civil Code is an attempt to waive personal laws and bring a common law for all in the country. It should be there which is applicable to all when it comes to marriage, divorce, maintenance and adoption. Article 44 of the Constitution of India dictates or it requests the state to endeavour to secure for all citizens a uniform civil code across the entire territory of India. Benefits include overlapping provisions of law will get reduced, all people will get equal status and there would be no discrimination when it comes to justice providence. The nation would speak together, of course, the nation will come out as a stronger entity. It would emerge with a simplified legal system, not too much burden on the judiciary which would get reduced and there will be speedy justice when it comes to non-interpretation of different laws. Article 37 also says that directive principles of state policy, these are not enforceable in any code. That means these are just a kind of instruction that is provided to the state if they want to become a welfare state. It is not enforceable in the court of law. So Uniform Civil Code cannot become enforceable with the help of the judiciary or the Supreme Court, but a legislation. According to the Lex Loci report of 1840, the colonial masters tried to have a similar law for everybody in the country irrespective of their religion. But they were too fearful if protests could come from different stratas of the society. So they said that Hindus and Muslims will be governed by their own personal laws. But when it comes to crimes, contract and evidence, the other colonial masters' law will come into force. With respect to Philippines, which of the statement is not correct? These islands are a part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. The highest elevation in the whole country is the peak of Mount Apo. The largest island is Luzon, which is followed by Mindanao. The country's capital, Manila, is situated in Mindanao. Okay, so what do we have to see? We will see that. But Filipino Foreign Secretary is on a 4-day visit to India starting from yesterday, beginning from yesterday. And it is expected that during this visit, bilateral cooperation would increase, specifically maritime cooperation, and trade and investment plus health and tourism will get a boost. This is on the agenda. So as you can see, basically, Philippines is a group of islands which is a part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. It is very close to the Pacific Trench. And this ring of fire is a ring which consists of subduction zones, which gives rise to volcanism, earthquake and tsunamis. So Luzon is over here. Then we have Visayas, which is a group of different islands. Then we have Mindanao. Okay, these are the 3 different groups of islands. And Luzon. In Luzon, we have the capital of Philippines, that is Manila and not Mindanao. Mount Apo. Mount Apo is actually situated in Mindanao, which is the highest peak of the country. Okay. And as you can see, that makes the first statement to be correct. Second is also correct. And third is also correct. Luzon is the largest island, which is followed by Mindanao. But fourth is not correct because Manila is situated on the Luzon island and not Mindanao. Okay. According to the Bioeconomy Report 2022, consider the following statements. India's bioeconomy contributes 2.6% of the GDP. Funding for biotechnology in India has been stagnating, but has returned to the pre-pandemic level. That means whatever the funding was there pre-pandemic level, although it has come down in the recent years, but it has returned to 2019, 18, 19. The current allocation is also only 1.73 of India's GDP. So how many statements given above is or are not correct? Although this report was published in April 2022, but it has been in the news because of genome editing for insects as well. So that is why I have asked you this question. The first question is actually related to bioeconomy. Bioeconomy is the management of different you can say organisms, biotechnology for giving a better economy. Okay, so funding for biotechnology in India has been stagnating, but has returned to the pre-pandemic level is definitely not correct. It is stagnating and it has still not returned to the pre-pandemic level. India's bioeconomy contributes 2.6% of the GDP is definitely correct. But the current allocation in the budget for biotechnology, research, etc. is very less, not even 1%. So third statement is not correct. Second is not correct, third is not correct, only one is correct, one only will be the correct answer. And the Department of Biotechnology has released the report, Bioeconomy Report. It envisions that the bioeconomy will contribute 5% by 2030 to the GDP. That means a $220 billion support in 8 years is needed. So funding has increased, funding has been stagnant, but it hasn't returned to the pre-pandemic level as well. So this is a problem because during the COVID-19 period, what happened is more and more funding was given to have a research on COVID vaccines, medicines, but it has not matched the level of the pre-pandemic level. The current allocation is only 0.0001% of the India's GDP, which is not very nice. Now, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization talks about bioeconomy, that is the production, use and conservation of biological resources, because biological resources give us related knowledge, science, technology, innovation purposes to have a sustainable agriculture, sustainable fishery culture and many other things. Okay. Food systems, it occupies the largest niche in the entire bioeconomy, such as sustainable agriculture, fishing, forestry and aquaculture, food and feed manufacturing, as well as bio-based products and bioenergy. If a good bioeconomy is achieved, what will happen? In the Sustainable Development Goals, which was, you can say, adopted in the year 2015, we will achieve many things, such as end of poverty, zero hunger and reduction of inequalities. We will also achieve clean water and sanitation, sustainable city communities, responsible consumption and production, that is helped with the help of bioeconomy, sustainable industry and infrastructure, economic growth and decent work as well, health and well-being, climate action, underwater life, life on terrestrial ecosystem. These are the different sustainable development goals. Out of 17 development goals, we are getting a lot with the help of bioeconomy. With respect to the International Astronomical Union, consider the following statements. It was established in 1909. It is headquartered in Vienna, Austria. It serves as the international authority for assigning designations to celestial bodies and surface features on them. How many statements given above is or are not correct? Sometimes what happens, we forget the not correct ones. Year is important and sometimes we also forget about the headquarters of certain things. So it is important that whenever any organization is in the news, remember the basic details are also equally important. Like when was it established? It was established in 1919, not 1909. Sometimes what happens, our brain doesn't help us, and even if we have read 1919, but when we see this question, we get confused. So revision is the key. Proper revision if you are doing, then you will not get confused. Then it was established in 1919, so first statement is incorrect. It is actually based in Paris, France and not Vienna. So second statement is also not correct. And yes, it serves as the international authority for assigning designation to celestial bodies as well as the surface features on them. First and second is not correct, third is correct. We had to select how many are not correct. Two only will be the correct answer. Why have I asked you this question? Because International Astronomical Union has named 4 minor planets after Indians. And the biggest takeaway from here is the name Ashwin Sekhar, which is named after a Malayali band. Who has named it? The Working Group Small Bodies Nomenclature, which is a working group of the International Astronomical Union only. Ashwin Sekhar, he is from Palakkad, okay, and he discovered the asteroid 2000 LJ27, and he is very important. Even if you get a question from IAU, remember the name Ashwin Sekhar, okay. Moving on. It was established IAU in 1919 to promote and safeguard the science of astronomy as well as aspects. It does research, communication, education as well, development through international cooperation based in Paris, France. Every year, IAU sponsors 9 international IAU symposium every year. And whatever is decided or whatever is brought out during this period is featured in the IAU symposium proceeding series. Then we have every 3 years where IAU holds general assembly. Whatever is decided or brought out during this period, it features in the Astronomy in Focus series. Okay, so these kind of questions could also come. In how many years does IAU gets its general assembly? It's in 3 years. These could be statement based questions. Okay, and sometimes these are, these seem so insignificant but yet very insignificant from the perspective of prelims. The IAU serves as the international authority for assigning designation to celestial bodies as well as surface features on them. Not only naming them, but designation as well. It is not done by NASA, remember that. And this authority is also recognized by the United Nations in 1982 only through the UN Resolution 13 on extraterrestrial feature names. So remember this. This is a very important statement. Consider the following statements. India is the largest producer and the 3rd largest exporter of dairy in the world. Rajasthan is the largest milk producing state in India. The share of exotic crossbred cattle in total mix output continues to be higher compared to the indigenous or desi breed. Okay. So how many statements given above is or are again not correct. India is although the largest producer of milk, but it cannot export a lot of its surplus. Why? Because of the prevalence of the foot and mouth disease in India among the cattle, and this causes a lot of harm to the exporting capacity of India. So first is, although this part is correct, but the rest of the part is not correct. What happens? We just read the first part of the sentence and then forget about the later part. Sometimes it can happen. We will choose the wrong answer because of that. Rajasthan in India is the largest milk producing state. Okay, remember that. And the share of exotic crossbred cattle in total milk output, it is still more than the which we compare to the indigenous breeds. So first is not correct, second is correct, third is also correct. We had to select the not correct one only will be the correct answer. Why have I asked you this question? Because the Fisheries Animal Husbandry Minister has said that there is an increase of 83 million metric ton in the production of milk in the last 9 years, which is compared to 121 million metric tons. It has been increased in the last 60 years. Okay. The per capita availability of milk was just 303 grams in 2014, which has risen to 444 grams in 2022. Remember this statement as well. It could be asked in your prelims examination. The per capita availability of milk. Okay. So this has been done. India is the world's largest producer of milk. Cannot export the surplus because it doesn't meet the foreign standards. The 5 biggest suppliers of milk on the global market when it comes to value. First is New Zealand, then we have Germany, then we have United States of America, Netherlands and France. And when we talk about states in India, Rajasthan tops, then UP, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so remember this. This could be asked in your preliminary examination. And these countries, they accounted for over half of international milk sales in 2021. Now milk output, there is a difference between the bred cows and of course the indigenous cows. But the gap has reduced. The difference in milk production between these two categories has reduced, and you have to remember that because a lot is being done to develop the indigenous cattle breed as well. The Champions 2.0 portal recently launched by the government is related to which of the following ministries? Ministry of Sports and Youth Affairs, Ministry of Defence, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. The correct answer is option D, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. And Recently, it was told by the Minister of MSME that India is to make India to be the third largest economy in the world. Right now, it is fifth. We need to give boost to the MSME sector. Modern technologies are needed to ramp up this, and this all was said on the Udyami Bharat MSME Day, which was celebrated yesterday in New Delhi. Okay, so MSME sector, it contributes 30% to the GDP, 50% to exports, 63 million enterprises which employs people who are 113 million in numbers. 45% is by the manufacturing. Champion 2.0 portal is a portal which is launched by the MSME. Classification of micro, small and medium enterprises goes like these. So micro, which enterprises we call micro, is when the investment in plant and machinery or equipment is not more than 1 crore and annual turnover is not more than rupees 5 crore. This was updated in 2020 only. Small, here investment in plant and machinery or equipment should not be more than 10 crore. Annual turnover should not be more than 50 crore. Okay. Then we have medium enterprises in which investment in plant, machinery and equipment should not be more than 50 crore, annual turnover not more than 250 crore. So you have to remember, because categorization questions are also favorites of UPSC. Now, as of February 2023, Maharashtra tops the list when it comes to the share in MSME, and it was followed by Tamil Nadu, where the share is more than 10%. So, next question. Which of the statements given below is correct? We have 4 statements. We have to choose which one is correct. Why have I asked you this question? Ajman is to the north of Iran, Ajman is to the east of Gulf of Oman, Ajman is to the south of the Red Sea, and Ajman is to the north of Abu Dhabi. Because Iranian authorities have detained 11 fishermen who travelled from Kerala, India to Ajman in United Arab Emirates, which is one of the Emirates of the UAE, but they mistakenly crossed into the Iranian waters while they were fishing. So that is why they were detained. And that is why this question is asked. Ajman, as you can see, is here one of the Emirates of the UAE. It is to the south of Iran, not to the north, and it is to the west of the Gulf of Oman, not to the east. Then here is the Arabian Gulf or the Persian Gulf, but it was asked in the question about the Red Sea. Red Sea is to the west of Saudi Arabia, which has nothing to do with Ajman here. But here is Abu Dhabi, which is the capital of UAE, and to its north and east we can find Ajman. So only that statement becomes correct. Ajman is to the north of Abu Dhabi. Rest are not correct. Rest are wrong. Alright, moving on. With respect to Rajya Sabha, consider the following statements. The nominated members of the Rajya Sabha have a right to vote in the election of the Vice President of India. The nominated members are persons having special knowledge or practical experience in the field of literature, science, art, defense and social services. Members of the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the assemblies of states only, in accordance with the system of proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. So what do we have to see? How many statements given above is or are not correct? When you see these big statements, you get really nervous. I know that everybody does. But most of the information in this statement is given as a distraction, so that you get distracted from that part and you forget about the rest of the part. For example, the first statement is definitely correct. The nominated members, which are 12 in number and are nominated by the President of India, they have the right to vote when it comes to the election of the Vice President of India, who is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So first statement is definitely correct. They are not going to elect the President. Remember that. Only the Vice President. The nominated members are persons having special knowledge and practice in the field of literature, science, art, defense, social service. So many fields are given, sometimes we don't even remember the fields. But remember, there are 4 fields which are explicitly given: literature, science, art and social service, but not defense. So as you can see, a lot of distraction was created by the bigger sentence. You might get nervous and not see this. So defense, from defense, no, explicitly it's not given about defense, the category for the nomination. Members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the Assembly of States only? No, of the Union Territories as well. So that is why please revise. I am folding my hands, joining my hands and asking you to please revise properly, specifically polity. If you stop revising polity, it will escape your mind like a rocket. Okay. So first is correct. Second is not correct. Even the third is not correct. That means 2 are not correct. 2 only is the correct answer. Once you have read so much, you might even forget to reread. Not. And then you mark the correct one. So please be calm. revise properly, and then you will be able to crack the prelims. The Election Commission has announced that elections to 10 Rajya Sabha seats from Goa, Gujarat and West Bengal would be conducted on July 24th. This is a recent news. Rajya Sabha is the permanent house of the Lok Sabha, and it consists of 250 members, out of which 238 are elected, rest 12 are nominated by the President, and it's not subject to dissolution like the Lok Sabha. That is why it is a permanent body. However, 1/3 of the members, they retire every second year and they are replaced by newly elected members. Each member is elected for a term of how many years? 6 years. Remember this, okay? These are just prelims fact. The Vice President is the ex officio chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. House, as in the House of Rajya Sabha, they also elect the deputy chairman amongst themselves, and there is also a panel of vice chairmen so that there is no break when anyone is absent. The senior most member of the Rajya Sabha is appointed by the Prime Minister as the leader of the House. Members of the Rajya Sabha are elected by the elected members of the assemblies of the states as well as union territories in accordance with the system of proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. He should be or she should be a citizen of India above 30 years of age, and qualifications, according to that, qualifications should be met, whatever needs to be there. There are 12 members who are nominated by the President based on the categories of literature, science, art and social service. Very important. While the nominated members of the Rajya Sabha have a right to vote when it comes to the Vice President's election, but not entitled to vote when it comes to the election of the President of India. Okay? Consider the following pairs. Recently, 7 important commodities have got GI tag from Uttar Pradesh. So, Amroha, GI product, Dholak, Bagpat, handloom product, Kalpi, handmade paper, Mahoba, Gaura Pathar, Hastashilp. So, how many pairs given above is or are correct? Yes. Amroha's Dholak got the GI tag, but Barabanki's handloom product got the GI tag, not Bagpat. Kalpi's handmade paper got the GI tag, and Mahoba's Gaura Pathar Hastashilp got the GI tag. So, first, third and fourth are correct, 3. So, all 3 will be the correct answer. Amroha Dholak, okay, it has got the GI tag. Mahoba Gaura Pathar Hastashilp, stonework. Mainpuri's Tarkashi. Sambal, horncraft. Bagpat's home furnishing. Barabanki's handloom product, okay, and Kalpi's handmade paper. As you can see, the second pair was handloom product. Handloom product is of Barabanki. Bagpat has home furnishing, okay. Amroha Dholak is a musical instrument which is made up of natural wood. These wood can be of mango, jackfruit or teak wood, and it has gotten a GI tag. So you can see these special carvings, and it is covered with goat skin, animal skin, specifically goat skin, and it is a very beautiful dholak, okay. And it here it has gotten the GI tag, which will help around 1,000 artisans who have developed these dholak, who are in the work of developing these dholaks. Bagpat's home furnishing has got the GI tag. Bagpat and Meerut, these are famous for their exclusive handloom home furnishing. They use only cotton yarn for handloom weaving production, and Bagpat is famous for weaving on the frame loom instead of the pit loom since generation, as you can see. And these are prelims fact, you have to remember them as well. Moving on to the next part, that is the Kalpi. Kalpi has historically been a center of handmade paper manufacturing. Many people say that Munnalan Khaddari, who was a Gandhian, he introduced this process. But people say that it goes back to many other decades. The Mahoba Gaura Pathar Hastashilp is a stone craft. This is the stone craft that we are talking about. It's a beautiful, craft. It includes radiant white colored fly stone, which has the scientific name pyroflight stone. Then we have Mainpuri Tarkash and Sambal horn. Mainpuri Tarkashi is basically the brass inlay work on a wooden plate, as you can see over here. And it was mainly used for khadaus, which are wooden sandals, because leather was considered impure. That is why it was used to make khadaus. And Sambal horn craft, the raw material are procured from dead animals. Okay. So remember, I have also attached the picture for you to make remembrance more easy. What is the GI tag? GI tag is a tag which is given to a specific commodity that has a specific property because it is originating at a specific geography. So texture or what makes this commodity unique has a lot to do with the origin. So that is why geographic or geographical indication, and it is a component of intellectual property rights. At the international level, it is considered under the Paris Convention for the protection of industrial property, and it is also governed by the WTO's Agreement on Trade Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights, TRIPS. In India, it is governed by the Geographical Indications of Goods Act 1999. Under this, Darjeeling tea was the first ever to get a GI tag in 2004-2005. Arrange the following countries on the basis of largest highway network in descending order. That means from the highest to the lowest. China, India, USA, Russia, Brazil. Okay. So choose the correct answer using the following codes. Let's see. China, India, USA, Russia, Brazil. This is what is given to us. First will be USA, largest highway network or road network. Then we have India. India recently beat China. China is third. Then we have Brazil. And finally we have Russia. 32154. 32154 will be the correct answer. Option D will be the correct answer. Recently, Nitin Gadkari has said that India's network of national highways is at 1.45 lakh kilometer. It is the second largest now after USA. It has increased by 59% in the last 9 years, and that is why it was important to know about it. Now, John Goodenough, who shared the 2019 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, has died at the age of 100. He won the Nobel Prize for developing the lithium-ion battery, asymmetric organocatalysis, development of method of genome editing, for the fake display of peptides and antibodies. The correct answer to this question is option A, developing the lithium-ion battery, and he recently passed away at the age of 100. Okay, and as you can see, these kind of questions could also arise. So I have attached a picture from the website of the Nobel Prize so that you can know in which year of chemistry who won what. So it was in the year 2019 where John B. Goodenough along with M. Stanley Whittingham and Akira Yoshino, they won for developing the lithium-ion battery, which made our lives easy for different applications. Applications of lithium-ion is in cellular phones, digital camera, global positioning devices, along with tablets, laptop computers. So India is becoming a digitally, enlarged country. That is why lithium-ion is also very important to us. Gives us good battery rechargeable capacities and also are light in weight. Now, if you want the PDF of this class, you can contact me on my Telegram channel. You have any question with respect to UPSC, you can also talk to me on my Instagram. My Telegram channel goes by the name of Pooja Dwivedi, StudyIQ UPSC. Thank you so much.